We have not done this podcast since last year. A lot of people will be wondering, actually, because I know a couple of years ago, or maybe last year, Matt will have to correct me, you didn't go the traditional turkey and veg route. You had the three-bird roast.
me, yeah, that was last year.
So what did you do this year?
Turkey crown.
Same.
Turkey crown. Back to basics.
There was a turkey in the three-bird roast, though.
Oh, I know, but it's not the same.
We had ham as well,
too.
like a boiled bacon ham.
What, for your main meal?
Ooh.
With the main meal, yeah. We do
with it.
Turkey crown and boiled ham.
Yeah. Not
And nothing else?
No, and the traditional, roast
I was going to say
parsnips, carrots, all that kind of thing.
We had Tom Kerridge's carrots, and he still wants them back now. Which are
classic comedy. This is what we're here for.
Tom Kerridge's
comedy of that level.
Tom Kerridge's carrots are ones which you have to soak in a whole block of butter for 24 hours.
What?
For serving.
That doesn't sound real, does it?
It's lovely.
Have to go
you can only eat them once a year, though, or else you die.
Luke, Gary, and Matt talking telly on the Custard TV podcast.
Because Gary, this is the only time you watch what I call normal telly. So you'd have gone to your parents.
Yeah,
or family.
I did actually watch. We started with in the morning. There was various films, but I don't remember watching all of them. But I managed to fit in.
I bet you did watch them all. You just don't remember what.
I managed to fit in an hour of Empire Strikes Back whilst my parents were not watching, which was quite good.
That sounds rude, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
I'll fit that in while my parents aren't watching. Sneaky Empire Strikes Back.
The Queen's Speech. Watch that.
Yeah.
Got to find out what the family are doing. And then I did actually watch and quite enjoy the Call the Midwife Christmas special.
Oh.
Oh
and
my
I
God.
want to review it. I want Gary's review of Call the Midwife.
Yeah, let's do that
I
quick,
didn't even see it.
please.
Well, it was a Christmas special, but it was based.
No.
No, serious. It was based around the fact that one of the now there's inside the thing you've got.
What the hell's going on, Matt? I'm already lost.
Inside the thing you've got nuns and midwives.
Nanata's house.
Yeah.
Nanata.
So one of the very elderly nuns was having a bit of a sort of a turn and was trying to do things about Christmas ahead of time, like she was putting up tinsel and...
That would be Judy Parfitt's character.
Thank you. And then she ended up leaving, and everyone thought maybe she was going into dementia, but she was trying to find her childhood home, and then...
I tell you what, this, with Matt's interjections, it's like a review with subtitles.
It is. It's a director's comment.
You know what you were saying about dementia before, Gary?
I don't know, it was a couple of weeks ago now. I just thought it was very good, and the girl from
What was it about
Fresh
it
Meat,
that you enjoyed it?
Charlotte, the girl from Fresh Meat was very good. I tell you what, I might watch the next series of Call the Midwife. There you are.
I think that's a weekly feature.
Yeah. Well, now that Miranda Blooming isn't in it, I might have a chance of watching
This
it.
is what we're... How far did Gary get with the new series?
Call the Midwife, yeah.
We will check every week from now on.
Is it Gary's
We'll check
delivery
every-
service?
Work on that
Gary
one.
Redrup at your service.
That would just be an awesome sitcom with Gary as a midwife. I suppose we had the delivery.
Hey, is this the point where I tell you that I did actually do a child development GCSE?
What even does that involve?
Well, it was doing about nature versus nurture and all that.
Were the GCSEs around when you were in school? Sorry to be...
That's right, yeah, of course. I did the last ever 11 plus that was taken into consideration before they brought it back.
I thought you might have thought be like O levels.
No, I think I was about the third or fourth year that GCSEs were done.
Okay.
And how often were you caned?
Never, because I was a good boy.
That's just creepy. I don't know why I asked
Yeah.
that. Okay.
We didn't have a cane.
TV news.
The head teacher had I was going to say a baseball bat. A bit hard. I meant a table tennis bat. What did you do, boy?
In one.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't think we've done this yet, but Gary's in the London area,
Hello.
and Matt's in the stereotypical north.
Hey up.
Sorry, I missed that.
That was my stereotypical north.
I can't wait till we get to the reviews and you go, Matt, can you do the reviews? And he goes, hello. I love that bit.
That's my favourite bit. I want to do it now.
Oh, dear.
God, I'm glad we started early. Okay. TV Daily news, reviews, previews, Gary Goes West, catching us up on all the US stuff, all the stuff you've missed over the last few weeks, back in its full glory. There is a load of new BBC drama being launched in 2016, the year of our Lord, and you can go and find out what those shows are by visiting our Coming Soon page online at the website thecustardtv.com. There you will also find out that Danny Brocklehurst's BBC One drama Ordinary Lies, which was about no ordinary lies at all, is going to be coming back for a second series. The reason we wanted to discuss this is because it's another one of those dramas, a la The Syndicate, and I know there's been another
Prey.
one.
Prey,
yeah, ish. What else? There's been a fair few.
Well, The
but they're
Missing,
not
isn't it?
to...
That's going to be...
Yeah.
Shetland.
Where it's the same
Shetland.
premise.
Well, that got a second series. I'm going back in time. It got a second.
That's not what. No, you've missed the point here. You can't just name a drama.
Right, okay.
It's not name a drama game.
It's a Prison Break. No? Okay, fine.
What we mean is it's the same premise with a completely different setting and a completely different cast. No, that was the same setting. Yeah.
The Syndicate is the only sort of proper one that has changes it up every year. But
I feel like there should be more.
I think
but I can't
what this is sort of what we're getting at. We talked about this on the Christmas special when we had Debs on about series just coming back for coming back's sake and coming back with completely new stories, completely new casts. We'll be getting it soon with The Missing. We had it with Prey, basically, even though the Rosie Cavallero character came back in that. But basically, Ordinary Lies, which was set in a car showroom, is this time being set in a sports...
like a Sports Direct type shop, I believe.
National it's the headquarters of a large national sports goods company. Whatever that is.
So annoying.
So like JJB Sports HQ or something like that.
Yeah, first time we've mentioned them on the podcast.
Yeah. Is it still a thing, JJB, or is that...
Yeah, at least people will come back to it thinking, "Oh, right, I enjoyed Series 1." Otherwise, if they give it a new name, doesn't that make it difficult to attract new...
But I think what Luke's point is, why bring back the show under that title in the first place? Because what people latched onto was the characters, was the setting, was everything like that, you know. So there's no point...
I agree. I'm just saying... Is it more difficult to relaunch a show with a new title?
But the only reason they're bringing it back, Ordinary Lies at all, is that is because of the ratings it got. But because the ratings it got, presumably, was because people like the stories surrounding those characters and the characters themselves and the actors. Whereas now you're not getting any of that. You're just getting the title. That's all it is.
I didn't rate the original series at all.
A lot of people did, though. It surprised me. A lot of people who don't usually watch a lot of British TV tuned into it and did like it, which surprised me. Whereas, you know, the three of us really didn't rate it at all, did we?
So two things that were leaving us. ITV's Jekyll and Hyde, which never really found its comfort zone with being on too early in the evening.
Well, I think what happened with Jekyll and Hyde was that people complained about it being on too early. And then there was an episode that was postponed. Was it
because of the Paris
what
attack?
Happened in France?
Paris attacks.
The thing is, as well, though, that they spent a lot of money on this. This was one of their big shows. This was one of the shows that
Peter Fincham went
on about alongside Unforgotten. This was the other show that he was highlighting.
I mean, obviously, I think, as you say, any momentum that it got from the complaints, which, let's face it, in television world, you know, all publicity is good publicity. You know, if you're saying that a number of hundred people complained about your show, the following week you're bound to get a few new viewers just out of the interest.
I just don't think it's one of those things that can necessarily find its feet straight away. It's, you know, it's a fantasy thing. It needs time to sort of settle down and things like that. And I think it did find an audience, and I think there have been quite a few people vocal about it being cancelled online, because I think some people did quite like this, but not enough people were watching it.
There was
And Cuffs, BBC One's crime drama, which I was keen on to begin with, and then just
I
found
thought
it
was.
a bit...
I mean, again, we talked about this, didn't we, on the Christmas show? That I thought it was a solid crime drama, good in the 8 PM slot, something different there. And again, I don't know how much you're going to get, different ratings-wise in that 8 o'clock slot, especially against, I think, was it up against the ITV soaps? I'm not sure at that time. The thing with Cuffs is that I reckon it did cost quite a lot to make, because obviously it was almost all exteriors, wasn't it, in Brighton, so it can't be cheap. And obviously if they replace it with something in studio like a Watchdog or something similar, then that is going to cost them a lot less money.
And the NTA's nominees are announced. Matt and I went to these a couple of years ago.
We did.
We did. 20th of January is when the next lot is out. We've picked our favourites in the nominations. It's your usual bog standard, hugely popular.
Using the royal we.
When you say we,
the website.
There we go.
I have picked our favourites for us. That's what I mean. So yeah, it's the usual populist sort of Ordinary Lies is in there to give you an example of the drama. I think Broadchurch 2 gets far more mention than it even deserves. I'd forgotten all about that and they reminded me of it. But yeah, if you want to have a look at the list, it's online at thecustardtv.com. And because you've all been so good up to this point, let's go west with Gary.
Thank you very much. Couple of renewals for the online service that Amazon run. Hand of God, which stars Ron Perlman. Hey,
where did that come from? All at the end there.
He's a former judge, and the first series that I haven't seen. I saw the preview, the pilot that they made, but I haven't yet watched the first series. Matt, you watched a bit of Red Oaks. That's the one set in the country club, isn't it? That's been given a second series.
Okay.
And Man in the High Castle, which I've watched.
And we go on about Gary, but Matt doesn't commit to an awful lot.
Well, no, I'm sorry, but I do watch an awful. I can't watch everything, Luke. I can't.
Why not?
I can't watch
People need stamps, Luke. Come on.
Yeah.
And then Man in the High Castle, which received a lot of critical acclaim before Christmas, and I thought,
but not after Christmas.
HBO are also renewing stuff. They've renewed The Leftovers for a third and final series. I've seen series 1, but haven't managed to watch series 2 yet. But that show's on Sky Atlantic.
Can you do that joke about Gary loving Leftovers again?
You can.
No, I can't, because you haven't seen the second series. Damn you, Gary.
I'm sorry. Yahoo Screen, which for those of you who can remember, brought back the 6th series of Community, which finished sometime last year, is closing its services. We reported, I think, about 3 months ago that they lost some ridiculous amount of £2 million launching this service and not getting many people onto it, so they've closed it. So this is possibly the first online service to close that was backed by a big company. I mean, there's been others that haven't sort of, lasted very long, but this is the first of them. I mean, Yahoo put a lot of money into this.
I remember using it to watch the first couple of Communities, and I just found it a really awkward service to use. And it was another one that wouldn't have been built into most people's TV, so they had to be logged onto the computer, into their Yahoo account, and it wasn't very user-friendly, so I don't know whether people would have bothered. Obviously, Community fans were keen.
But I think in this country, you got it on Sony TV, so I think mostly, as you say, the lack of interest from Americans in any other thing that was on the service other than Community was probably what was hurting them. If you watched any Celebrity Big Brother last night, you would not have been able to miss the previews for the new mini-series of The X-Files on Channel 5 that's coming, and that's going to be early February, which is going to be about 1 to 2 weeks after it's being shown in the States. I'm absolutely hooked already.
How many episodes in the mini-series? I'm always confused by what I'm...
6, but if maybe Matt could check that whilst I'm going through...
What am I checking?
How many...
He doesn't listen... If you notice, he doesn't listen to Gary
sorry, but I am checking on the other 2 series on Yahoo Screen, which were
we don't know
Sin City Saints and Other Space.
There you are.
You could have just made those out.
He may well have done. Could you check how many episodes are in the new...
I'm doing it now. I am listening. X-Files,
Doesn't he get RC? Doesn't he get RC?
It doesn't take much for you around. And here is, as mentioned, my review of the show that dominated a lot of the Christmas period for some people, and I finished off in 2 days. The excellent Making a Murderer, which is a true life story, but certainly done very much in a television style. I think halfway through the series, the amount of twists and turns that are going on, you probably thought, gosh, if this lot were actors, I wouldn't have been that surprised. This is a telling of the story of a Northern American, I say Northern American, not North America, but he's in the north of America. Cut that bit out.
What's going on?
Steve Avery, who, in a kind of rectify thing, was released from prison after DNA...
Did you get that on DVD for Christmas?
No, you didn't send it to me.
No, you were. That's what you said to me. You're getting the first series of Rectify.
Oh, no. Well, yeah, my uncle's watching it, and then he's going to lend it to me.
Oh, I see. Go on.
Yeah, anyway. Steve Avery was